2, 1.
And now for Pucks and Pints. Brought to you by Jimmy Sports Lounge in Kingston, Ontario.
Oh, jeez. I did start. We're going to do this over again, folks. I didn't hit the radio. My apology. It's been a long Monday.
3, 2, 1.
And now for Pucks and Pints. Brought to you by Jimmy Sports Lounge in Kingston, Ontario.
He shoots and scores.
It's hockey time. Here are your hosts, the Big B, Coach K, and Bacon.
The waiting is over. You don't even know yet.
And now for Pucks and Pints.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pucks and Pints. Back at our regularly scheduled time for now, at least for this week. I'm Coach K from Windsor, Ontario. Great to be here with you tonight. We're going to bring the other guys in. I'm not allowed to curse too much on this show, so I thought this was the shirt I was going to wear. I don't know if you can see it. And if you know who the guy in the picture is, you'll know my misery.
It's your favorite player.
I hear Disney on Ice is hiring. Anyway, let's bring it over to Queens, New York. We got a lot to get to tonight.
Yeah, we certainly do. Close the door. Close the door. My older son is
close the door. I've got my headphones tangled in my legs. This is not starting out well.
It's starting out like the week in the NHL was.
Right. My older son is just standing there with the door cracked open, just staring at me. Close the goddamn door. Yes. So anyway, there is a lot to discuss. And I think between the three of us, we need to imbibe in a lot of alcohol.
Yes.
So I'm going to throw it back up to Windsor, to our knower of all things craft beer, and hopefully he can help get us drunk on something that doesn't contain flowers. Well,
we'll see about that. So unbeknown to me, I came early for the show and got bored, so started on Locker Room.
Get to the website, get your discount.
That's right. Sponsor of our show. Once I'm done that, it's a toss up here. I got a couple real colorful cans tonight. One is by Flying Monkeys Craft Brewery.
Sounds like guys that smoke wacko tobacco.
These guys are up in Barrie. They're one of my favorites. It's called The Mutants Are Revolting.
You know what? The cans are probably better than the beer.
This one is really good. I like this one quite a bit. Their cans are awesome, by the way. Their can art it's on point. I'll tell you what. And then the other one I pulled out, I picked up yesterday, which I'm excited to try, is called Fergie Jenkins Classic Pilsner.
Oh, nice Chatham, I imagine.
Yeah, by Sons of Kent. Obviously, Fergie Jenkins being we'll say a Chatham boy. He's between Chatham and Blenheim. Lived out in just outside of Charing Cross there. I went to high school with his daughter. And so I'm pretty geeked to try that one. So we'll see how it goes.
Why can't you drink both?
I will be drinking both.
Oh, okay. Well, you
just not simultaneously.
One or the other, like it's. I've got like 3 or 4 of these ready.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going to drink them all. It's just I don't know which one I'm going to start with yet.
And Big B with his German,
with his Grolsch.
That's right.
We need Big B to. I don't know if I should say this. We need Big B to create a holocaust across the NHL right now.
Well,
I wouldn't go that far.
yeah, I don't even know where to start, to be honest
right.
with you, with the NHL from this week.
Well, here's where we're going to start. We're going to start with our good old race to the cup, and we'll talk about the teams that are still in.
16 teams enter and only one survives. It's time for the race to the cup.
Race to the cup. There's 8 teams left. Let's start in the West. Big B, let's start with you tonight. Seattle, Dallas. Let's go there. 2-1 Kraken.
So I have a question, and I have to think about it myself. When do we start taking the Kraken for real? Because everybody said Dallas across the board. Everybody said Dallas. You said Dallas is going to the cup. The Kraken just kicked the crap out of them yesterday. Not yesterday, the day before, 7-2, beating the best goalie left in the playoffs.
And I don't think it's over yet, but I have a trivia question for you. And this may be a good trivia question for our friend, Bacon. I know you always have one. Who is the leading scorer in the playoffs for the Seattle Kraken right now? Who would you take without
Beniers.
I'd have to say what Bukestad?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Okay. Big B?
I said Beniers.
Yanni Gord. Who do you think
Yanni
the
Gord.
second highest scorer on the Kraken is this year? In the playoffs, I mean. In the playoffs.
Morgan Geeky. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know enough of their players, to be honest with you.
Right.
It's Schmaltz. Well, because
Nick Schmaltz, really?
They're a melting pot of everyone. And I agree with Big B. I think it's time we got to take this team seriously. They keep talking about Vegas and their 4 lines and, don't worry about Edmonton. We got these 4 lines running. This is a team that rules by committee. And what's his name in net there? The old Spitfire. I'm going blank again.
Grubauer.
Yeah, Grubauer.
Grew. Remember the chants at WFCU. This guy's playing some really good hockey right now as well. So I agree. Seattle, time to take him serious.
Well, here's the funny thing. We all picked Dallas.
I still got Dallas. I'm sorry.
April 17th, when we made our initial picks for the first round, I made a note on my page, and under my finger there, it says that Seattle is the sleeper.
Yeah.
And I was afraid to pick them because I didn't think they were going to go this far. And now I'm afraid that they're going to wipe Dallas out.
No, I'm still going to stick with the Stars, but it's going to be tight.
And they do play some exciting hockey, do they not?
Oh,
their games are fantastic.
They're playing by committee,
man,
and they're coming at you in waves. They've got big defensemen. They play within the dots. Take note, Toronto Maple Leafs. They play within the 4 dots. You divide the rink in 3. You know that. Bacon, right?
Yep.
And they've got some speed up front. And they got guys that are should be over the hill and never lived up to what they were supposed to be. And, your Eberleys and the guys like this, Sushis and Tanev, and here they are.
It's almost like the redemption story, right?
I really wouldn't mind it.
Oh, it'd be awesome. I'll tell you what, but I don't know.
I'm not going to bet against Dallas.
They're up 2-1. They have the potential. Don't get me wrong. Dallas isn't playing bad. Seattle is just capitalizing on their little mistakes and taking advantage of it. I don't know. We all had Dallas. I had him in 5. You had him in 5, Coach K. B, you had him in 6. It's still possible. Not for 5, but for 6 anyway. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Just imagine this though. So look at the teams that have been eliminated: Boston, the Rangers, Tampa Bay. 2 of the best goalies and the best team in the NHL this year have been eliminated. That leaves Jay Ottinger as the best goalie remaining. If the Kraken eliminate the Stars, the the road to the cup is wide open because
Wide
right now
open.
the Stars have the path to get there. Now that those other three teams are out.
I am so glad you mentioned that because that would lead right into my pick for the draft lottery for tonight. Keeping in mind that the best are out of the running.
That's
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying in that scenario, the best are slowly being eliminated.
We could see the Kraken and the Panthers, ladies and gentlemen.
That would be
who would imagine?
Yep, that would be nuts.
I don't know. I don't know if you remember back in the 90s, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks made a run to the Stanley Cup. They ultimately lost in the Cup Finals, but J.S. Jaguar won the Conn Smythe in a losing effort as the goalie. Yeah. Nobody had them going anywhere.
But remember, Big B, he was stopping 65 shots a game.
Oh, he was standing on his head. But what I'm saying is, nobody picked Anaheim to do anything. Nobody picked Seattle to do anything. This happens every now and then in the NHL. A team gets hot at the right time, no matter what their seed, and they can run to the cup.
You got it.
I think the nice thing for Seattle and teams like that, they got nothing to lose.
Right.
There's nobody expects them to do anything, like you said. So why not?
Why not?
They got this big brand new arena. Why not fill it?
Yep. For sure.
And they got a great fan base, by the way, unlike some other teams that can't sell tickets, right? Or play in a university arena. Seattle has done a great job marketing that team, and Bacon's just smelling the flowers in his beer.
Oh, it's so good. This is such a good beer.
Anyway, the other series, I guess, is more palatable for people. Dave Pagnotta is still saying the winner of this series will go and possibly win the Stanley Cup. At this point, you got the Oilers in Vegas. Oilers shellacked them last game, but where were we at now? 2-1?
1-1. 1-1, game 3 tonight.
Game 3 tonight, yeah.
I think Vegas is... There's only one key against the Oilers, and I think we all know it. Stay out of the penalty box.
Yeah.
So
55% power play on that team.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Now, so after the performance last game, do they think about starting Quick, or do they stay with Brosseau, whatever his name is?
Apparently, according to what my sources, Brosseau is going to start tonight. I would go with Quick.
So here's the thing as well is you had Brossoit start the game. Aiden Hill was their backup. Quick wasn't even listed for the last game. So I don't know if he's still nursing some sort of an injury or if he's just their third, because at the playoffs they were explaining last night in the game, you can't have an e-bug. So there's nobody in the stands that's going to come in and play for you. So your third goalie is technically your e-bug. And if you want to, you can dress him and sit him on the bench.
Right.
They were talking about that during the Toronto game because Murray was technically in the building, wasn't dressed, but he was just ready. He came down from the press box when Samsonov got hurt and waited to play. So Quick is there, just whether or not he's going to be dressed and ready to go, who knows?
And we saw that last year, the Rangers series against the Penguins, the third, whatever his name was with the spicy pork, he had to come in game 1, the third goalie. Yeah. So it happens.
Now, I'd go Quick. This is kind of the situation. You need a big road win. I'd jump over to Quick right now.
Well, that's it. You're walking into Edmonton's house. 1-1. You've got to take the win here, or else Edmonton gets the momentum. I mean, Brossoit hasn't been playing bad, but I don't know. Maybe you start Brossoit on a very, very short leash, 1-2 goals, Quick comes in, or I don't really know.
But you got to figure you got to take home ice advantage back. And Quick is obviously the seasoned, experienced Stanley Cup winning goaltender.
Good for a game or two at least, right?
For sure. I would put him in.
This may be your Stanley Cup right here.
Yeah.
Now, I have another something to throw out. Currently, I guess, probably without doubt, the best player in the world so far in the playoffs is Leon Draisaitl. I was thinking about it, and it was confirmed today when I was listening and reading. that Connor McDavid is in fact dealing with something. He'll be there, and he'll still be probably the third best in the world, even if he only has one leg. But
Yeah.
can Draisaitl continue to carry this team on his back if, in fact, McDavid is hurt?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's been doing it already now, and he doesn't show any signs of stopping. Like, he came out in was it game 1, scored 4 goals, and then came back in this game, and I think he had 2 in the last game. So, like, this guy is on fire. Like, people are feeding him the puck. He's shooting from his wheelhouse. I think, as long, like you said, as long as the other teams stay out of the penalty box, that's how you neutralize Draisaitl for the most part.
You got
the minute you take a penalty,
down.
good night.
You got to clog that neutral zone like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there's a record at stake, and I believe it's a 5-game series, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. But Reggie Leach and I can't remember who the other one is, but it's 19 playoff goals within the first 2 series. And Draisaitl's at what, 13 or 12?
He's on track to hit it. I think he was at 12.
Yeah.
Draisaitl's at 12 right now.
Yeah, so it's possible.
And even with Connor McDavid being hurt, he's got 10 assists. So he's still feeding Draisaitl the puck, and they're scoring. So even with him hurt, they're still a dangerous.
He scored 2 goals last game. That's what I'm saying. Like, thank God he's nursing an injury. If you're the Vegas Knights.
Sorry, Draisaitl's 13. Sorry, not 12.
Because the guy scored 2 goals last game. So if he's hurt, give him to me. Put him in a wheelchair, and I'll take him. All right. Over to the East.
Let's just start with the elephant in the room.
Let's just get it over with.
Idiots.
Kurt says the whole thing. Man, were the Leafs doing some beautiful passing last night. Do you not all agree? To the other team?
Listen,
I was watching the game, and I don't know what feed you get. We were watching on TNT with Turner Network.
Yeah, so you guys had the Florida feed.
And it's a national feed for us, so it's the ESPN guys.
Right.
So in between, they were talking to who was it? The Vancouver coach and
Rick Tocchet.
Rick Tocchet, yeah, and those guys, and they're all pointing out. Oh, by the way, where is Matthews, Marner, and Tavares? After the second period, they're just like, where are they? Going into the third period being 2-2, they're all saying they need to start doing something in order to push this team to get a win. And nothing happened.
You have 4 players in your top salary on your team consisting of $39 million that have 1 goal in the last 7 games. 1 goal. And you're getting goals out of guys like Gustafsson and Kerfoot and other guys that are just out there grinding. I am tired of watching this team fail with that much talent. That's where I'm at. I'm beyond surprised that they're down 3-0.
It's not your goalies, so
it's
throw that out the window. It's not your goalies.
The only argument I could make to that would be last night's game or last night's game with Samsonov being injured. So Wall comes in, probably nervous as hell. Never been in a playoff situation before. Lets the first one in. Plays great after that. But that first goal, okay, maybe it's jitters, maybe it's nerves. That's your only goaltending argument right there. That's it. Everything else has been stellar goaltending on both sides of the fence.
So now imagine this. And I'm just going to throw it out there because I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're gone. But 1 game at a time. Do you know that if the Leafs miraculously pull this off, if they just go out and have fun, they're the better team as far as talent goes. That Florida defense has flaws, and Bobrovsky's due to break. So imagine this. if the Leafs pull it off, they will be the only team to come back from 0-3 twice. Because there's only 4 teams. There's the Islanders, the Leafs, the Flyers, and I can't remember the other team. I want to say Montreal, but it doesn't happen very often. One game at a time.
It's,
And we're going to get to coaches inside the crystal ball. He's got to go. He doesn't.
Part of the reason I chose the Fergie beer was because I knew baseball season was approaching very, very quickly at this point. Yeah.
He's got to go.
I don't know. It's really, I just think it's just frustrating for me to watch. That's all it is. They're down 3-0. They need
coach
performance out of those top 4 players. And
As
maybe
coach,
Matthews is hurt. They alluded to it last night. He doesn't look like himself. He's not, you can tell he's not playing up to what he can play up to. Maybe he's resigned himself to, hey, we're done. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's hard to watch. It's frustrating, but I'm going to stick with them till the end, which is probably Wednesday night. Maybe they get one more, but we'll see.
One game at a time. But Bacon, I'm telling you, as a coach, when we're coaching youths, we do have the ability to train them how to play the game in practice. But as a coach, you have one job. Your job is to motivate the team.
Yep.
I love Keefe, but he can't even motivate himself. He's beaten. Look at his face.
Could it be
Maurice is out coaching him and he knows it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Could it be, and I'm thinking back to last year and the year before with, guys like Thornton and Marlowe. Could it be they don't have a veteran presence in that room to give them what they need? They've never been to this part before. They've got all the talent in the world.
What are you talking about? O'Reilly, Giordano.
Yeah, I mean,
going in that room. What's his name? Muzzin is in the room. Simmons. They're all around. They got veterans. They're shit, is what they are. They're lazy pieces.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, O'Reilly's great. Giordano's great. I don't hold them in the same regard as guys like Marlowe and Thornton, though. Those are the guys. You know what I mean? But
we got to move. We're not talking about this they're losers anymore. One game at a time. Carolina, New Jersey. Great to see Jersey spike back. That's what they did against the Rangers.
Here's the difference that I'm looking at with the Devils. So Freddie Anderson was complete garbage in the first period. They jumped out to an early 3-0 lead. From then on, the Carolina Hurricanes and the Devils played very even. And they wound up scoring 5 goals on a goalie that I don't think ever played in the NHL yet, made his debut. They also gave up 3 shorthanded goals. Now, you can look at the 8-4 score and say, oh, the Devils dominated. If you give up 3 shorthanded goals, you have flaws.
You have major problems. Yeah,
This is not the Rangers series. The the Carolina Hurricanes jumped out to a 2-0 lead. I think after the first period, Carolina played very, very well. And it was just that they were, in front of a very green goaltender. Antti Ranta is out with an illness. I don't know when he's coming back. Expect Anderson to be back in net whenever next time they play, Tuesday, probably. I think it's a very different series than the Rangers. Just because they scored 8 goals, that doesn't mean anything.
Want to talk about a good coach? Brindamore. They're missing some key pieces, and their goaltending, like you said, it's iffy.
Mm-hmm. It's been iffy all year.
God, they play a structured game.
Yep.
And they're fast. And to say a team is fast against New Jersey.
And they're quick on the transition too, just like Jersey. So they play Jersey's game against them, and can turn games around very, very quickly. Put that first period aside. They played an even second and third periods.
Yeah, their games are fun to watch too.
I think this one's going to go a while though.
Yeah. So I mean, we all had them, at least 6 and 7. So it's going to be a longer series. It's tough for New Jersey in that the first couple losses, right? You had Akira Schmidt start the game; he got lit up, and then they brought
Vanacek.
They brought Vanacek in,
or Vanacek, yeah,
and he got lit up in that first game and just kind of got destroyed. And then, so I mean, they're slowly figuring it out, but it's some good fast hockey. I'll tell you what.
Everything's a win for Jersey this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, even to get this far with such a young team, right?
And they brought in the other Hughes.
Luke
Yeah.
Hughes.
They're gonna be good. I'm telling you. They're gonna be good. All right, so there it is for Race for the Cup, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, we all just nagged on the Leafs for like 5 minutes. Kudos to Florida. They took out the best team in the league, and they're about to take out the Leafs. So kudos to them. We need to give them credit. Hot goalie, fast in the neutral zone, winning the battles. Kudos.
Yeah, I get a kick out of all those memes that are on the internet that say, we want Florida. Ha, where are you now? 3-0. Yeah, we wanted Florida because we'd rather play them than Boston.
Yeah.
But we never said we were going to win.
And every game's been within a goal.
Oh yeah, they've been close games for sure.
Going to win. I went on record, and I'm not giving up yet. I'm the one. I'm the last tin soldier. Okay, like if we win Wednesday, I'm in there for Friday, which means we need another night for Cape Cool Radio. Like I'm there. It's been one goal the whole time. We're bound to snatch one or two.
Oh, it's not blowouts. So that's the best part about it. You can't go, oh well, Florida won 8-0. Okay,
but this is
3-2, 4-2.
What you expected
it's playoff hockey.
Florida to do last year, and they fell flat on their face. The part I find amazing is Florida would not even be in the playoffs if the Pittsburgh Penguins won their last 2 games, which were Chicago and Columbus, 2 flipping lottery teams.
Yep.
Right.
And now the Panthers might hoist the cup.
and 2 lottery teams in the top 4.
Yeah.
To tell you how bad they are. So.
All right, Big B's ready. I know he is. He's frothing at the mouth. Let's go into our crystal ball, ladies. Or actually, should we do Jay Vegas first? Let Big B.
Yeah, do Jay first, and then we'll go into.
All right, so I'm gonna have you guys mute yourselves. I'm going to mute myself, and we are going to go into. I didn't mean. God's sakes, I hate this new camera.
Yeah, now you changed your angle and everything. Look at you. Now there's 2 of you.
How is there 2 of me?
Because one's not bad enough.
Well,
one's not bad
Marner,
enough.
You suck. Can you hear me in stereo, Marner? You suck. Anyway, let's get rid of that. Oh my Lord. I do not like this new format. All right. I'm going to mute myself, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back, folks. Here we are again, another edition of Jay Vegas's Picks of the Week on Pucks and Pints Radio. We reviewed some of before a lot of those first round matches were completed, we reviewed some of the picks going into the second round last week. Still, nothing's changed for me. I'm riding this Vegas train right to the end. We talked briefly about Vegas, how they were 6-1, the Leafs were 5-1. Both fairly good picks going into the second round, but the big thing was the Boston Bruins line. The Boston Bruins favorite to win the Stanley Cup going into a Game 7 against Florida. It just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense that you're offering 28-1 on Florida. You're offering 3.5-1 on Boston. Yeah, I get it. It's the great Boston Bruins. Arguably a better record than the 1970s Montreal Canadiens record. Whatever, whether you agree with it or not, who cares? They were the mighty Boston Bruins. But Florida was able to take them down. And you were able to get 20, and I hope you caught a piece of that 28-1, guys, because 28-1 as opposed to 3.5-1 on the Boston Bruins, that's great value. And now here we are. Florida's up 3-0 over the Maple Leafs. It's been a pretty tough round 2 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's be honest, guys, they haven't even really showed up. You haven't had that elite player show up for a night and ring off 3 or 4 points. Matthews kind of doing nothing. Johnny T providing a little bit of offense, but it's 3-0 for Florida now. And you should have known, if Florida can beat the mighty Bruins, they were going to give the Leafs a really tough series. And, Leafs haven't shown up. Hope you didn't take a piece of that at 5-1. But like I said, I'm still on Vegas at 6-1. I hope you caught a piece of Florida at 28-1. And the Devils pulled it off against the Rangers. Sorry, Big B. That was a pretty tough loss. But the 3 teams that we were kind of focused on last week, the Golden Knights, the New Jersey Devils, and the Florida Panthers, are all looking kind of good in this round 2 right now. I'm not after this, we're in the semis, and then we're going to the Stanley Cup. So I'm not going to waver. I'm not going to change my mind. I am going to throw out a pick. I'm going to throw out a pick for tonight after the podcast is over. We're riding Vegas, baby. I'm going to take Vegas, and you're getting good odds. You're getting plus 155, meaning if you bet $100 on the Vegas Knights and they beat the Oilers tonight, you're getting back $255 return. We're going with that, and I'm also going to throw in a little extra pick for you. The main pick this week is going to be Vegas Knights to beat the Oilers in Edmonton at plus 155. If you can find a site that gives you same-game parlays, if you can find a site that lets you parlay 2 independent results in the same game, we're going to take Mr. Jonathan Marchessault to get a point tonight. He's paying, I believe, minus 110 to get a point, minus 130 on some sites. But if you want to take the Vegas Golden Knights at plus 155 and you can parlay them with Jonathan Marchessault to get that point tonight, you should be looking at about 2.2 or 2.1 to 1 odds. If you can't parlay them, take them separate. Lay $100 on Vegas Knights tonight to smash the Oilers, and then a separate bet on Marchessault tonight to get a point. If you want him to get a goal, I think at any point in the game, you're still getting plus 150 or plus 155. You put both those together, you're getting close to 5-1. That's the J Vegas pick of the week, guys, and be careful as we go into round 3. Sorry, Kenny, your Leafs just didn't show up. You can cheer for the next 4 games. 4 games straight, they can ring them off and beat them. But as far as I know, that's only happened in the NBA. I think if you look through the annals of hockey playoffs in the NHL, I don't think anyone's ever come back from 3-0. I might be wrong. Call me on that if I am wrong. Leafs just didn't show up for you, Kenny. And the Rangers really let you down, Big B. Let's go Vegas. Let's go Jonathan Marchessault. And let's see, maybe we can get these Devils in the final. How about a Devils Golden Knights final? Right now, if you want to bet that pays 22-1. Just keep it in mind. Good luck, everybody, and good luck with your bets. May the odds be with you.
The fastest 60 minutes on ice. Pints and Pints Radio.
I am going to call you out on that, Jay Vegas. I said earlier, 4 teams, including the Leafs, in the history of the NHL have come back from 3-0 deficits. All right, let's go inside the crystal ball, boys, and we got to go to the Rangers first, and then we'll go to the other stuff.
What does the future hold? Let's find out inside the crystal ball.
All right, Big B, we'll give it to you. The floor is yours, and then Bacon and I will chime in with our thoughts. The New York Rangers lose in Game 7 to the New Jersey Devils.
Well, if you look at the series games 4, 5, and 7, they didn't even bother showing up. And their 4 losses in the series, they scored a total of 2 goals. They weren't in this series at all. They came out blazing in games 1 and 2, dominated, and then suddenly I don't know what happened. They took it for granted that they were going to win after those games. They certainly didn't adjust the way the Devils adjusted, and they couldn't do anything. They were 4 for 10, 4 for 12, or 4 for 10 on the power play in the first 2 games. I think after that, they scored maybe 1 or 2 goals the rest of the series on the power play. They were non-existent. And of course, Artemi Panarin, great in the regular season, does a disappearing act, does his best David Copperfield impression in the playoffs, and basically just hands the puck over to the opponent. Patrick Kane, another extremely disappointing. He wants to be all fancy with the puck, does these drop passes to nobody, and turns the puck over. I know he had 1 goal and I think he had 5 assists, so he was at least on the board. But for the most part, he didn't do much of anything either. Zibanejad played a great defensive series, scored 1 goal. Chris Kreider was the only one who was actually scoring, and most of that came in games 1 and 2. They didn't show up. They didn't want this win for whatever reason. The entire season they talked about it's just a stepping stone to the playoffs because we have unfinished business. Well, you didn't do jack crap in the playoffs. You deserve to. I said it in our chat. They deserve to lose this series. If you can't show up to a game 7, you don't deserve to win.
I have a couple of questions for you, because I've heard some stories along the line before we get to the coaching. And I'm wondering, this could be for like several teams, because we saw a lot of teams, a few of them no longer in the playoffs, that went all in. You got Tarasenko, you got Kane. I like those little moves you made on the bottom pairings, but does that disrupt a team that's on a roll already? The chemistry is there. And I don't mean this just for the Rangers, but we're talking to the Rangers right now. Did the moves cause chaos on the bench?
I think the Patrick Kane move caused chaos. The Tarasenko move is what they needed. They needed a right winger, a scoring right winger. Tarasenko move was a good move. That's what they needed. Tyler Mott was a good move. They brought him back. Great 4th line guy. That solidified the 4th line. The Patrick Kane move really disrupted everything, because now they didn't know what they were doing on the power play, because now they want everybody in on the power play. So that puts Zibanejad out of his position. Normally he's usually on the left circle at the top of the circle, getting his one-timer. They move him over to the bumper spot, or they put him up high. They move Panarin over there. It disrupted everything. Tarasenko, a good move. I think he fit in great with the Rangers. Patrick Kane, as good as he is, he looked lost on the Rangers, and the Rangers didn't know where to place him.
And wasn't the Tarasenko deal that was done a couple weeks before the Kane move, correct?
That was a couple weeks before.
Yeah,
that was with
right.
him
So
and Nico Mikkola, which is another great pickup on defense, solidifying the 3rd defense pair.
Right. So you got a little bit more time to work with them, figure out where they need to go. And by the time Kane showed up, everybody had a spot. It was like, now what?
Right. And that, everybody, the power play was set up. The lines were set. Then you throw Patrick Kane in there, and it's like, what do we do now? Because we have to give him equal time on the power. The power play was the biggest thing. They were a great power play team, but once he got in there, and Zibanejad's moving all around, playing really out of position, And then for some reason, I have no idea, and this is Gerard Gallant's fault, why they put Trouba on the power play, on the second power play unit as the defenseman instead of Keandre Miller makes absolutely no sense to me. Trouba couldn't keep a puck in to save his life. He's a good defenseman and he'll hit somebody, but Keandre Miller is a puck mover, much like Adam Fox on the first power play unit. But you have Trouba there who can't keep a puck in, can't take a pass, he can shoot, but for the most part, he's giving it up. It's coming out of the zone. Why he was on power play 2, I don't know.
So my second question is, before we get to the coach, because the Rangers are fascinating, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to say we're going to spend, the majority of the time on this, but they're a fascinating specimen. I said to you last year, and I think, guys, I said it at the beginning of the year, I think the Rangers overachieved last year. They were amazing. They played great. They were almost in the Stanley Cup. But it wasn't their time yet, is what I've been trying to say the whole time. Are you leaning that way yet, Big B? That maybe you went all in when it wasn't your time yet. You've got a rich, young, I know you've got some older guys. Every team has some older guys. But you've got a rich, young foundation in New York, and I believe they overachieved last year. And everyone's expecting Stanley Cup this year. I was even thinking it at one point.
But I agree, and I said it last year too. They were well beyond. They were 2 to 3 years away supposedly last year, and they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. But here's the difference: coming into this year, look at the moves that were made last year. They got at the trade deadline or near the trade deadline. They got Andrew Kopp, Frank Vetrano, and Tyler Mott. Those are grinder guys. Those are guys that are good on the forecheck. Those are guys that are going to go into the corner and battle for the puck. What did they do this year? They got Tyler Mott back, which was great. Like I said, solidify that fourth line. They got Tarasenko, high scorer, right winger that they needed. That Patrick Kane move didn't need to happen. They moved heaven and earth and massaged the cap. So, like 5 people were playing the entire game so they could make the Patrick Kane move when they could have gone out and I heard rumors, and I really wanted it, was Nick Bukestad to come in. Instead of Patrick Kane, somebody that's going to grind, because they got totally exposed by the Devils. There was nobody in the corners taking the puck away. They do the jump and chase, and the Devils would just take the puck right back out of the zone. There was nobody grinding. There was nobody forechecking. Those are the moves they did last year. They didn't do those moves this year. If they would have gone in that direction, I think Tarasenko was an asset. If they didn't go for Patrick Kane, which caused chaos on the power play, and stuck to a more defensive player like Bukestad, I think they would still be in the playoffs right now.
Now let's go over to Bacon. He hasn't had a chance to talk about the Rangers yet. And let's talk about what Bacon would say is the elephant in the room. I told you Gallant was going to be fired. I find it one of the strangest things on this planet that the guys won something like 473 games with 64 losses and whatever in overtime, and he can't keep his job with anybody. I told you he was on his way out. Bacon.
Well, it's before I answer that, I find it interesting just to go back to what Big B was saying. I was scrolling back through our chat on Game 7 night. The game started at 8:30, and at 8:50, there was a comment that said, "Man, Panarin should be wearing a Devils jersey because he just keeps passing the puck to them."
I said,
and then about 10 minutes later, Kane's not far behind, right? It was basically between Big B and I, because Coach K was probably sleeping at that point.
Well,
right? 10-9. It's
When I get angry at a hockey game, I choose not to comment in chat.
But you should, because it's fun.
It's not fun for me.
But yeah, as far as Gallant goes, I agree. I think it's odd that he is such a revered coach, but he can't hold a job, anywhere to save his life. Now, there's a lot of rumors. There's nothing that's ever come out to say this is exactly why he was fired, or I guess they parted ways is the new term of the season this year. But there was rumors after Game 4 of an argument with Chris Drury about play style and strategy and GM's vision versus coach's vision and that kind of thing. I don't know. I mean, I'll admit you called it probably before probably mid first round, wasn't it?
His job was on the line before the playoffs. I knew it.
Yeah, it was about mid first round that you kept reinforcing, like, look, if they don't win, he's gonna go. And I'll be honest, I didn't see it coming. I'll say as quickly as it did. Like literally, they got out of the playoffs. It was a week later, and we got the notification here. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for a coach in that spot. There's a lot of rumors out there that Quinville and this and that, and they've come out and debunked those today and said he wasn't on the list, and I'm not sure what's going to happen, to be honest with you.
How about Babcock, Big B?
He's rumored. The one guy that might have the inside track is their AHL coach, Chris Knobloch.
100% agree. 100%. I didn't think anyone would say that. 100% agree.
Now he first made his debut in the NHL when David Quinn was out with COVID or whatever. Yeah, whatever it was before Gallant. And the Rangers were so bad under David. David Quinn is a terrible coach. They were so bad. When Chris Knobloch came in and coached them, they went on a winning streak. Everybody in New York said fire Quinn and hire Knobloch. The media, the fans, everybody wanted Knobloch to coach. So he may have the inside track. I mean, the Hartford Wolfpack is still in the playoffs. They're in the third round. Anywhere he's gone, he's been revered as a really good coach and brought teams to championship level play. He may have the inside track. Unless Drury wants to go with a name like Bruce Boudreau or Babcock, somebody like that. If not, Chris Knobloch should have the inside track, and I think he should get the job.
I'll defunct that right away. Boudreau is far too soft a man. He's a fantastic guy and a great coach. Far too soft for the New York market.
Yeah, I don't see him fitting well in the market either. He'd be a Midwest Conference, maybe a Seattle or a Vancouver type deal, but New York would eat that guy alive, unfortunately.
The one thing I did see was that Drury would really like Mike Sullivan from Pittsburgh if Pittsburgh was to fire him, but it seems like Pittsburgh is not fired. They fired the front office, the GM and the president.
Yeah.
But looks like they're gonna keep Mike Sullivan. But from what I read today, Drury would love to have Mike Sullivan be on the bench.
All right, let's move along. We're running out of time. We got a few other things we got to get to, but I feel your pain, Big B. Calgary, Big B, another guy. They both left. I didn't think that was going to happen, but they both left in Calgary. What's on the horizon there? Talk about players dictating the future.
So guess who the rumors are that I've read today?
I'm waiting.
Gerard Gallant. All the rumors are Gallant to Calgary or that they're interested.
Gallant comes in and he wins.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something beneath that I don't get. He's like DeBauer. DeBauer's the same kind of coach. He comes in right away. The team loves him. Go, go, go. And then the next thing you know, DeBauer's gone. So I can see Gallant there. But what did you guys think about that? Well, I thought the coach was going to go for sure. But I didn't think, what's his name, Treleving or whoever he is, would go. I thought he's done a really good job. especially after Goudreau and Tkachuk left. He got Kadri, he got Huberdeau, he got Mackenzie Weezer. I thought he did a pretty good job as far as the GM job went.
Yeah, and that's it, right? Like I called Sutter. I was like, man, he's gonna be gone right away, and then he stuck around, and I was like, that's weird. And then Trelevin got let go, and I thought, wow, that's interesting. That maybe the GM was the problem. And then here we are 2 weeks later that Sutter's now gone, and they're on the market to do something. But I think they haven't announced any GM stepping into that position, right? So was it more of a let's get rid of the GM, let things settle, and then we'll talk about Sutter and decide what to do with him later on? Do they have candidates in mind? Maybe. And maybe that was part of the process was, hey, you got to get rid of Sutter and I'll step in and, I'll take over as the GM and I'll find my own coach. Maybe there's more to it behind the scenes right now, but I don't know.
If you don't have things in mind, then you're really in trouble.
Could it be that the GM was out because they were, all season long, they're fighting for a playoff spot and they did absolutely nothing at the trade deadline. They didn't do anything. And they ultimately didn't make the playoffs. That could be a reason why the GM is out.
Yeah, true enough. And it's like the good old boys club, right? In Calgary. I'm surprised they're standing pat in Winnipeg, because there's another franchise in big trouble.
Yeah, based on their season, though, they had an up and down season. They had an up and down playoffs. I don't know that there's enough there to legitimately look at the coach and say it's time to go.
Well, no, I like the coach, but I'm thinking of the GM, and I'm also
shovel day off, right? Yeah,
I'm also thinking of the culture there. Like, I don't know how much weight you take into Paul Maurice, but it was mental health. Mental health is why he left Winnipeg. It's a toxic, terrible place to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and obviously that starts from the top down, right?
Yeah,
that's not something that comes from the bottom up. That's
that's culture.
That's workplace ethics, right? It's just the way it is. So, yeah, you're right. But I guess it's their management group needs to step up and look at it and go, look, we're going through coaches and we're going through players. People don't want to be here. Why?
Now, I'd like to throw a name out to you guys before we move on to the draft and anything else. Another coach that was relieved of his duties, who I absolutely love, was Dallas Eakin in Anaheim. You don't think any of these teams may have an appetite for him? I think he's a great coach.
I think he. Oh, sorry, Big B. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I don't think the Rangers. He's on the Rangers list at all.
Calgary. Where else do we have coaches?
Not many at the moment.
I thought there was a bunch dumped, but
Washington.
I like Dallas Eakin. I thought they should have wrote it out. The young team they have there, and the possibility tonight of getting who, which we'll talk about in a minute. I think Dallas Eakins is the right guy.
I was going to say the same thing. They started with, everybody looking at them going, they're going to be so strong because they've got, Zegras, and they've got this team built around them, but let's be honest, that Anaheim team is a similar team to New Jersey, where it's a young team. I think they put a lot more stock in that team in the beginning of the season than they should have. They should have looked at it and said, cool, it's not a rebuild year, but it's a learning year. We'll take what we can get from this team. We'll take the coach for what he's worth. Yeah, they crapped the bed. Like, they didn't do well. Like, they didn't even do 50% well. But I don't know. I think they probably could have given him another year and said, look, this is your deciding year. And tell him up front, this is your deciding year. Either you come in over 60% or, take the walk. Knowing that there's a lot of guys on that team with a lot of talent, I think it just they added a lot of young pieces between the end of the 2021 season and the 2022 season that really worked against Eakins doing an effective job.
Look, I'm going to deal you a 2, a 6, an 8, a queen, and a jack. You're not going to win the hand.
Nope. But you got to put the best together, right? And unfortunately, I don't think they gave him the chance to do that.
Everybody I hear from, again, we're talking culture, right? The poison in Winnipeg, perhaps in Vancouver. Who knows in New York what's behind the scenes? Probably too many egos. But I think this is a coach for a young team like that. And even if they pick second or third, they're going to get a hell of a player on June 28th.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So here's a question to you, B. Thinking of New York, do they do you think it's more, maybe it's not a poison culture, but like Coach K said, do you think it's a big ego, big money culture in the sense that you've got other teams in the area like the Knicks, the Yankees, the other New York teams that are performing somewhat well, where they come in and they go, we expect excellence 100% of the time. And if you can't win championships, you're going to go.
Well, I mean, that goes on in New York regardless of the sport. But the Knicks and the Rangers have a particular issue, and his name is James Dolan. He's the owner of both the Knicks and the Rangers.
Teams. Yeah. Yep.
And his ego is larger than Madison Square Garden. He thinks he knows everything about everything, and he has the final say in everything. So, and you see through the years how god awful the Knicks have been because he's had his hand more in basketball than hockey. But when he went with Glenn Sather on the Rangers, and when Glenn Sather couldn't do anything anymore, and he's hired Dennis Potvin as the coach, who had no coaching experience whatsoever. The problem is James Dolan. He doesn't know how to put together a winning organization in either hockey or basketball. And until he sells, which he never will, there's always going to be questions, and there's going to be quick firings, and there's never going to be a chance to develop anything.
Well, and that's what I was wondering, right? Knowing that the Knicks are in the NBA playoffs, and Dolan being the owner, and his like you said, his ego being as big as it is, I would, if I'm the Knicks coach, man, I'm afraid. If they don't beat Miami, maybe he walks too. Maybe that's the way it is.
And that's 100% the way it is with James Dolan. It's you win now or you're gone.
Yeah. So I think you hit the nail right on the head there, Kay, with New York being an ego money performance market more than a toxic culture market, possibly.
Same as Toronto. You go to these other places, and like even Florida and Arizona and Carolina, perhaps, and you're free. You're free from the media. You just don't get killed.
And don't get me wrong. Everybody likes to win, but again, at what cost? Right.
That's the idea, right? The idea is to win. The idea is to compete. All right, let's jump over to Mike Joel. It's a great conversation so far tonight, guys. Let's go over to the Sports Minute, kind of a lighter look at sports, ladies and gentlemen. And when we get back, we'll close things off with the big draft.
Now it's time for Sports Minute with Mike Jollitz.
Hello, pucks and pints. Hello to you, Coach K. Hello, Big B. And hello to you, Bacon, as well. Hey, guys, it's still hockey season, and I've really been watching a lot of hockey lately, so it's been really cool. But now it is time for the Sports Minute. Denny Hamlin edged out Kyle Larson to win the NASCAR race in Kansas yesterday. I was sleeping. I missed it. Oakland A's legendary pitcher Vida Blue died. The Hall of Famer was 73 years old. Milwaukee Bucks fired their head coach Mike Budenholzer, or whatever it is. He had a pretty decent .693 win percentage and a world championship. I don't know. And finally, in the Sports Minute, the Arizona Diamondbacks lost to the Washington Nationals on Sunday after giving up a 3-run lead. Yeah. The Diamondbacks took 2 out of 3 from the Nationals, though. So, all righty, guys. Well, that does it for this for now. I'll be back with another Sports Minute next week. And let's go watch us some more hockey, guys. All right, later. Bye-bye.
All right, boys, we're coming to the end. Great show, great conversation, great input from everyone tonight, by the way. It's been a weird year. My favorite saying tonight, though, and I'm going to use it again, let's go to the elephant in the room.
It's absolutely.
The Connor Bedard sweepstakes. There's some really good hockey players out there. I've been doing a little reading and a little watching of videos and stuff, and you're not a loser just because you're a loser. But here we are, and we can't guess, guys. I mean, the odds are crazy. But you got not Edmonton, Anaheim 18.5%, Columbus 13.5%, Chicago 11.5%. San Jose and Montreal 9 and 8, Arizona 7.5, Philadelphia 6.5. I mean, Capitals, Red Wings, Blues, Canucks, Senators, Sabres. God, not the Sabres again. Pittsburgh and Nashville and even Calgary as a 0.5%. What you say, Big B?
Anaheim.
You think it's going to go right to the numbers?
Yeah, it usually does. So I say Anaheim. But I have a question for you. Of those top 3, because Calgary's he's not going to get him, who would you not want him to go to? I would say Columbus myself.
Yeah, I hate Columbus.
Yeah, if he goes to Columbus, you can put him and Goodrow on a missing poster.
Yeah.
Or could I go to team number 5 and say he better not go to Montreal?
Why not?
Montreal.
Maybe he's the piece they needed this year.
Then then they're even smaller than the Leafs, and they're never going to go anywhere. Okay, so you got like 4 midgets on your freaking top line.
Exactly right.
I'm going to surprise you here. What would really be interesting to me, and I don't know how Big B feels about this, but I think the Flyers would be kind of cool. That's a good hockey town.
He's not rough enough to be on the Flyers.
Yeah,
but you know what I really like? Because they've been burned so many times, and I can get cheap tickets. Imagine him playing in Detroit.
Yeah, those cheap tickets wouldn't be cheap tickets any longer, though.
No, you're right.
So what do you say? You say Philly?
No, I don't know what to say.
Tortorella would kill him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he'd take one look and go, nah, I'll just wait till next year again.
Right.
But I know Anaheim, like 1-5, right? And Columbus is right behind Chicago now. I mean, there's another storied franchise, right? You want to rebuild, you want to get Patty Kane back next year, although he says he's not going back now. Chicago could be interesting. I don't want him to go to San Jose. I don't want him to go to Montreal. And God, I don't want him to play in a university arena.
I think Chicago would be the best place for him.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, he would fill the need with Taves not coming back.
Yep.
And, I don't know if Kane ends up back in Chicago or not, but I'll tell you what, I agree with you, Coach K. It's tough to kind of even think about where he's going to land, only because of the format of how it's picked.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, oh, it's a draft lottery. It's 15 teams or 11 teams in a mix. They pick a ball and go, number 2 got it. No. It's 4 balls.
Yeah, well,
The
it's all
machine
the
randomly
teams
pulls
all the
4
teams
balls.
that miss the playoffs are
Right.
kind of in there, right? Like,
Yeah, and then the machine randomly pulls 4 balls. And based on a predetermined list that came out this afternoon, the NHL says if it's this combination of numbers, it's this team. So, for example, if it comes out with a 6, a 9, a 10, and a 14 in that 4-ball combination, he goes to Anaheim.
see, I didn't know this. This is why I didn't want you to spew this on the pre-show.
Yeah, it's crazy the way that the numbers and the analytics are. Now, obviously, with a, let's say Anaheim being a 18.5% chance, they obviously have more numbers in the combinations than anyone else, right? It's kind of how it works.
Here's the thing I find fascinating about this, and this goes beyond who gets the number 1 pick. And I can't stand them. You guys know it very well. But the Red Wings have been robbed. They have dropped. Like your Rangers, Big B, they popped up like 5 spots the one year.
Mm-hmm. And that's the other part of it, right? Is based on the numbers that are drawn, let's say after Bedard goes, it then determines with a sequence number where they sit and how many teams, maybe you jump 2 queues, maybe you jump 2 positions, I'll post the link on our Facebook page to this document.
So I'd like to see that.
It's great. Like, it's mind blowing to look at it, and just for instance, here's a look at just one column on the document.
Hang on, let's
and it's probably, I don't know if it's backwards for you guys or not, but if number 1, number 3, number 12, and number 14 ball come up, St. Louis gets them. Like, it's crazy. This document is like, I don't know, it's like 20 pages of just.
How does the ball pop up with the team? It's just programmed.
It's not even a team. The teams are assigned numbers.
Well,
It's
but
like-
the ball pops up. I remember
It's like a
seeing the Rangers
literal
pick up
lottery.
Lafreniere.
No,
Right,
it's like a literal lottery.
Yeah, I think that's the part they do for TV.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the part that is done behind the scenes is just a giant lottery machine with, 17 or 18 or however many number teams are out of the playoffs. It'd be 16 teams or something, numbered balls, and it just pulls 1, 2, 3, 4. There's your combination. Cool. It's this team.
So, and I love
It's
when
not
they hold
bad.
the signs up. So we got to cut this in like 2 minutes. But the one team I don't want to see is Buffalo. I'm sorry. You've been blessed enough. Deal with it. You got a great team. You need a goalie. Move on.
I feel like, and you're going to hate me for saying it, I feel like he's going to end up in Montreal or San Jose. That's my thought.
So you're
One of those 2 spots.
You're thinking Montreal. You're going to
or
pick
San-
them next year to finish second or third. And
Listen, we've been over that prediction a number of times, and the alcohol-fueled induction.
you will never live that down. I
don't intend to, because they should have done better than they did.
They're
But
crap.
But
my Leafs are crap too. But anyway,
I feel like they're going to go to the number 3 and number 4, San Jose or Montreal. B's got Anaheim. What say you? He's too small for Philly.
I'm going to go Chicago.
And again,
I
the
wouldn't mind
numerical
Detroit.
possibility
I
of
wouldn't
us
mind Detroit.
choosing this properly and choosing it correctly is like 1 in a million.
Yeah.
But, hey, with an 18% chance at Anaheim, I think B, you probably have the best chance at getting it right.
1 in 5. I mean, still, that's not good odds. Ask Jay Vegas. I don't know.
No, don't ask Jay Vegas.
Right.
True. Somebody parlay on the Knights tonight.
Yeah. His parlay will be that the Bedard goes second tonight.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, Jay.
What's going to happen? I guarantee you, Columbus is going to get the first round pick and pass on Bedard. There's my pick right there. The Blue
Yeah,
Jackets, the Blue Jackets win the lottery and they pass on Bedard.
just to opt Goodrow into another year of his contract.
So that means if Anaheim falls second, I still win.
You do.
Oh,
All right, boys,
man.
we got to go. Who do you got, Bacon, by the way, before we leave?
Like I said, Montreal or San Jose.
All right, let's go with it. All right, kids, we'll see you next week if all goes well in the world of hockey.
Later.
Thank you to all the listeners on our affiliate stations. To find out more, check out Pucks and Pints Radio on Facebook and Twitter.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel now and make sure you never miss another upload. This is Pucks and Pints.